Nigeria's follow me to serve our father's land with love and strength and faith. The labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with earth and might, one nation bound in freedom, peace.
I'm making sure that the planning assistant director, account and finance, you're welcome. And then of course we have our Karshi, you're welcome. Just wave your hand. Thank you very much. Introduce almost everybody in the hall. What?
Great of NOA here in the Federal Capital Territory. We are home to NOA today, and not to conduct an election in Nassau State. So two-time commissioner in that regard and capacity. And he is now the 2IC here in the Federal Capital Territory. He's getting to the people so that when you're looking for presiding officers,
we are continuously, distributing and collection of PBCs. That is the permanent voters card, which is still ongoing. That is the issue of sensitizing the people in order for Nigeria to witness free, fair, and credible election. That is the issue of sensitizing people to shy away from violence. That is the issue of sensitizing people to disease from selling their votes. That is the issue of sensitizing people from disrupting elections. And all this is achieved with the support of a sensitization and mobilization organization, which is the National Orientation Agency and the press. So our being here today is not by coincidence. Our being here today is definitely to come and express our appreciation and gratitude for all the support we have been receiving from NOAA, and also to assure NOAA that this time around the partnership is going to be different. It's going to be different in a sense that I know what NOAA is. I will talk about that one later at the end of this speech. But for the moment, let me inform the director of NOAA and the staff and this organization that already the preparation for election is already in top gear. We have since issued notice of election. Parties have conducted their primaries from presidential to the councillorship level in this country and in FCT. What is meant now is that as from 6th of this month, which is 6th of this November, there's going to be a display of voters register, so that people will go not only to look at the register about something that concerns them, but as something that concerns others. Let them go and see whether their names are spelled correctly, whether their names match, whether the photograph in their name matches their faces, whether there is somebody who has been displayed, whose name has been displayed, but they know the man is their neighbor and the man is deceased, or the man is no longer here, or whatever, or they found that there is a face, there is a name, and they know the person is just 11 years old. All this, they can raise objections. This is the time to do that, and that is going to be from the 6th to 12th of this month. And I want to intimate the NOAA again that even though we suspended the continued voter registration exercise in August, it was suspended. It has not been stopped. It will continue immediately after the 2019 general elections. Anybody who was not able to transfer his vote or register or anything until that end of August will not be able or eligible to vote until after this election. So he can vote in subsequent election, not this 2019 election. Having said all that, I want to please appeal to NOAA to continue to partner us in sensitizing people to come and collect their PBCs. This is very important because no Nigerian will be allowed to vote in 2019 unless he has a permanent voter's card. And now, let me come to why I said things are going to be different. I know NOAA. I was part of NOAA. I was a director for 4 years in Nasarawa State. First of all, I want to inform the director and NOAA that this time around, we are going to have to be partners, in sensitization of people during this election. And one, the Inec, NOAA, and another organization, we have to partner in our sensitization exercises. Because I know what NOAA is, we have to partner. Number one, I have already approached the Abuja Chamber of Commerce. I want them to fund a program about peaceful conduct of elections. I have discussed with the DG and also the president of the chamber. I have committed that into writing, and I'm sure I have copied the director, National Authority Agency, that the agency should also follow up so that the funding for this program, because as of now, the only thing is that immediately after this, there will be notice to continue campaign, for offices. So NOAA will definitely have to follow this up so that the funding. I know what NOAA is. That's what I'm saying. So that is why I'm talking about looking whereby we can have adequate funding to allow NOAA to be able to do the job in which they have been created to do. Because without funds, without funding, without partnership, it's going to be almost like impossible. Number two, there is no beneficiary of election like political parties. All these political parties, they are supposed to have funds to sensitize their own people on the conduct of free, fair election, and also how to vote correctly to avoid invalid votes. So it is the duty of these political parties. So I'm going to write to IPAC, all the political parties. I will write to them and invite them to partner with NOAA and fund the proper orientation of people on proper voting system, how to vote correctly. So the reason why we have to do this is because of funding. There is nothing we can do without funding. I know there are other organizations also that I will approach. All those, every organization, I don't have to write them. I will visit them, I will discuss with them, I will write them, then I will copy NOAA, so that NOAA will also follow up, so that there will be a partnership in funding. The reason why I'm going to this length is that Mr. Dogo, David Manya Dogo, is very much aware. When I was employed in NOAA as a director, when I reported, the first thing I did was to organize my management staff to look at the edict that established. Mr. Dogo is witness. I wrote to the DG and make suggestions on how to revise the edict that established NOAA. Because as we are going, eventually, if we are not careful, eventually NOAA will be asked to report to the Minister of Agriculture or Minister of Agriculture or Environment. So this is very important. NOAA is supposed to be very squarely placed and make their contribution. Like I said, not even 15 or 20% of the potential of NOAA is tapped. We will see how we are going to partner. We will see how NOAA is going to be very proactive, by the grace of God, and make proper contribution and organize a lot of town hall meetings, in order to ensure that the 2019 general election is successful. I thank you very much, sir, and still, for accepting.
Rec and his delegation from the Inec headquarters, FCT. We are truly very grateful to God and to you for this opportunity that we have today to interact much more than probably we have done in the past. I know that since your appointment as the resident electoral commissioner, we have had about 3 or so occasions at which NOAA has come and participated in some of the stakeholders' meetings that took place in your office. And I think right from that point in time when you came, it was very clear to us that for NOA, FCT, and Inec FCT, we have come into a phase of a new relationship, new partnership and collaboration with you in office. Let me say that when I saw in the media that you had been nominated for appointment as resident electoral commissioner, I started fasting and praying, because from my own calculation, I said, one thing I'm very sure is that at the end of the day, your posting is going to be within the North Central Zone. And since FCT is in the North Central Zone, I prayed to God. I said, God, even if it is because of me, please cause that Alhaji Yahaya Bello be posted to FCT. And God not only answered my prayer, but he made it a big reality. And that is why the very first day he reported to office, I think I was one of the first people to also go to that office to welcome him. That's true. Just to show how delighted and happy I was with this appointment. Like Alhaji has said, we've known ourselves a long time ago at different levels. He was our director in Nasarawa State, and all the times we have visited Nasarawa State, he had been a very good host. And this is not something that he's just doing now, but this is something that is part of his life, because we have tested him. I have been there several times, and we have enjoyed, his warmth in receiving us and making sure that our assignments are carried out effectively. Now, in another informal setting also, we know ourselves also that this one is not for this particular meeting, but there is we also meet on another level, and so just to explain to you how close we have been over the years. So for us in NOA FCT, we are truly very grateful and happy that we have a man like him, well experienced. In fact, most times when we sit down with him and we gist, I don't like his gist coming to an end, because you enjoy his stories. You know, he has very rich history, you know, to tell you about a number of things. And I know that each time we meet, whether officially or unofficially, we have enjoyed, you know, that part of him. Now, having said this, let me again thank you very much, sir, and your team for coming to visit us. You know, you don't know what you are doing to us by coming to visit us, because you are raising the bar for us. And you are also raising the image of FCT anyway. I don't know if in the past any rec has ever visited anyway. To the best of my knowledge, this is the first time, the very first time, that we are having such a high-ranking official of Inec visiting the NOA FCT. So for us, this is quite historic, and it is something that we are going to cherish for many, many years to come. And we hope and pray that this is going to translate into something that is going to be beneficial to the two organizations and to the country and the people of Nigeria at large. Sir, we want to thank you for the partnership that you've spoken about. We've seen very clearly that here you are making personal efforts to see that funding is made available so that together Inec, NOA, other partners can come together so that we can work. What I keep telling people each time we meet in a forum like this is that all of us are working in the interest of this country. We are working for the same government. We are working for the people of Nigeria. So if we partner, if we cooperate, we are all doing it in the interest of this country, in the interest of the people of this country. And so we are truly very grateful, and it is important that we leverage on this and make sure that we make the most of this very wonderful opportunity. Like NOAA, Inec has a very, very robust and wide reach. They are also found in every local government of this country, just like NOA. And that means that it has made it very easy for us to collaborate. It has made it easy for us to partner. In FCT here, I know that to a very large extent, our officers on the field have been working with Inec. But I don't know if there are challenges that some of them are facing, and that is why I made sure that some of them are here today so that they can also interact with you a little bit, share their experiences with you, and then let's see how your intervention can ensure that we progress in the partnership that we have been doing over the years. So we'd like to thank you for the initiative that you took regarding approaching the Chambers of Commerce of Abuja. I want to assure you that we are going to do a very serious follow-up on that so that as quickly as possible, let us be able to start something, because there is no time again. Elections are coming up in February. We are already in November today, and that means we have limited time to be able to reach people. We need to commence work as quickly as possible. Also delighted to know that you also be speaking to IPAC. The branch from FCT, we have met with them some time ago. Well, they also are crying of funding. I don't know. But maybe the situation, I want to believe that the situation probably has changed now. But the last time we had a meeting with them, they were a little bit constrained or complaining about their funding situation. But we hope that, irrespective of that, we should be able to come together and be able to forge a partnership that can help electorates to be able to participate effectively in the 2019 general elections. We want to assure you, sir, of our support. NOA FCT is available at every time Like I said it one time when I came to your office, since my coming here last year, February, as director of NOA FCT, I have never missed any stakeholders meeting convened by your office. Yes. I have made sure that for every stakeholders meeting, I came personally to be there. Because this issue is so important to be left to others. So I have always come personally to be part of it because I believe it is very, very important. And I will show you that as long as I remain here as the director, I will make myself available in my personal capacity at all times to make sure that we put our heads together. I want to thank you also for identifying with us in terms of our funding limitations. You were a part of us and you know the struggles that we have been going through. And I want to use this opportunity to just appeal to government, appeal to international organizations, you know, to consider NOA. NOA is a very, very, very important organization. I tell you that 2 days ago, when people encountered problem along Nyanya Road as a result of the protest by the Shiites, you know, you need to listen to radio. NOA came under very serious attack. People were saying all sorts of things. NOA ought to have done this. NOA ought to have done this. Yes, people are right. But I think it will be important also for people to know the challenges, especially of funding, that NOA is facing. You know, I always give this example. We have 774 local governments. Now, for a simple sensitization program, you will need at least 50,000 naira. That is the simplest publicity program you can do, advocacy you can do. You need a minimum of 50,000 naira, you know, per program in a local government. Now multiply 50,000 by 774 local government. That gives you about 40 million naira. 40 solid million naira. Now in communication, people will tell you that if you want something to sink into somebody's head, you probably will have to say it 7 times. So imagine that you have to do that campaign, go and vote, no vote buying, you know, come out and vote. You have to do that repeatedly 7 times. That is 40 million times 7. And that is almost close to 400 million naira. But I tell you that the program funding that we get for a whole year is not even anything close to that figure. So I think there is need. Yes, we have been looking outside the box. You know, we have been looking outside the box. Since I came here, I have done most of my programs without funding from the headquarters. I approach people and then we work out modalities and we go ahead and do the programs. I have done several programs without funding from the headquarters. And I intend to continue. But there is a limit sometimes also that you can continue doing this thing when you are not getting the right funding. So, sir, we want to also appeal through your office that anytime you are holding meeting of your resident electoral commissioners from all over the country with your national commissioners, I think this is an issue that I think you should table. When the Inec budget was submitted, I noticed that about 800 million was allocated for voter education. Honestly speaking, my thinking is that there should have been a budget for NOA to do aggressive, you know, campaign. Because when there are voided votes, when there is apathy and people don't go out to vote, again, NOA has always received the blame, even much more than Inec. Yeah. Even much more than Inec. You know, so what this simply implies is that NOA needs a lot of money to do voter education. I agree that statutorily, Inec has the responsibility for voter education, but Inec also can rely more on NOA so that it can face the very difficult challenges of ensuring that the elections are conducted successfully. and let us be on the field, to do voter education. This is what we have been created for, right from the days of MAMSA. There is nothing else. So I'm just raising these issues while appreciating you and all the efforts that you are trying to make, that any opportunity that you have, please do convey some of these challenges that we are facing. NOAA has very energetic staff, very creative staff, very resourceful. You know that because you were part of us. Some of us have been serving in this agency for more than 30 years now, and we are there doing our best. And I think that we will feel encouraged and fulfilled when our capacity, to do work is enhanced all the time. So I would like to, again, honestly, very sincerely welcome you to FCT. This is not our office. We are within the Secretariat, but this is a hall that is commonly used by all the agencies that are here. Now, I am on the 8th floor, and I know that my little interaction with you at personal level, I know that you are 70 plus. The lift is not working, and I don't want to punish you and say, let's climb 8 floors to go to my office. That's why I told Ndidi when she came the other day that we'll spare the stress of going up. I'm relatively younger, much younger than you are. So when I come, I do pur, and I'm on the 8th floor. But I'm sure you will not be able to do that. So, but I'm sure at some other times, even at personal level, I'm sure we can arrange for you to just come up one day when the lifts are working, so that you can see my office and just visit one or two of the units. Yeah, take a cup of tea, and then we can fraternize a little more.
Speak now or forever keep quiet. Answered almost all. But still, I will go ahead. Like I said, I cover Bari Area Council, and I know that in time past, you have to go online to register. And even when we do that, I battle with the name of my staff to be, to be included. Like for me, I have worked severally as SPU, but I still have to register online. And when we go out for this election thing, the way we are being treated, it's kind of very paralyzing, because nothing is given to us as extra in case of eventualities. I can remember in the last election, one of my card readers in one of the voting units didn't work. I had to take Okada, that's Sherry, one village, I think it's even more closer to Happy.
Let me start this way by thanking the resident electoral commissioner for visiting us here in the city today.
President, the synergy between National Orientation Agency and the
my colleague here has already mentioned. The only thing I want to say here is that
if you recall my last statement, I said I know the issue of NOAA. You see, the edict that established NOAA is so loose. I don't know what happened, because in Plateau State, when I was Commissioner for Information, MAMSA, I was working closely with MAMSA then. In fact, it is MAMSA that's later on metamorphosed into NOAA. MAMSA was very squarely placed in the presidency. The funding of NOAA, that made and allowed Professor Jerry Gana to make NOAA a very formidable organization, that really spread the gospel on the behalf of the federal government. Then, because of the funding and because of proper placement. I don't know whether it's because of the edit, but let me make this suggestion to NOAA. NOAA DG. Whenever there's going to be election in this country, Inec will present its budget. the security agencies will present their own budget for that election. NOAA DG, whether he's invited or not, he's supposed to make a case for NOAA, be also funded on their own in whatever they want to do. Even, so that he will look at a funding that will not duplicate and complicate that of the Inec. I think that is okay, because everybody has a role. You see, this election in this country cannot be successfully conducted only by Inec. That is why the security agencies are making arrangements for their own funding for election. The security forces in America or in them, they will not make any submission for election in America, because you can vote in the post office.
Okay. Today you received the Residence Electoral Commissioner at FCT. What do you think this romance will bring at the end of the election?
Well, for me, it is a great privilege that we have received the rec for FCT today. And this signifies the fact that our partnership is going to work, and that this will be in the interest of the elections that will come in 2019. So I believe that this is just a gateway to our working together to ensure that we have peaceful, credible and acceptable elections in 2019.
Any challenge at all?
Well, of course, there will always be challenges. For us anyway, funding challenges there, but we are not deterred. We keep on doing our best to see that we educate the people. There is the issue of voter apathy, there is the issue of voter buying. So we are working on that, educating the people about the negative implications of all this. Thank you very much.
Good is that?
Yes, how are you?
You just came to visit Noah. Do you think this romance today will give opportunity for a credible election in FCT?
By the grace of God. Because like I said, I myself, I was the director of NOAA for 4 years in Nasarawa State. I know the NOAA potentials. I know their deficiencies. I know what they lack. But I know their potentials and their capacities and their capability. All we need is to see how we can work together in order to bridge the gap of the deficiency, and then the result will be very fantastic.
An issue of party primaries was raised.
Yes.
And you defended it by saying that you are monitors. But as we stand now, can we say that our political parties have been able to file in their candidates for chairmanship and the councillorship in the FCT, which eventually will come on the same day state governors and House of Assemblies will be having their elections in 2019?
And by the grace of God, they have. You see, like I said, I still stand by it. Inec is not a tribunal for party primary disputes or convention disputes. We are monitors. We monitor based on invitation, the time, the date, the venue, the mode of the primaries and what have you. We have a checklist from the presidential to the councillorship. So we monitor. While we monitor, we keep our records as monitors. The dispute arising from the party primaries, whether they conducted during the daytime or nighttime, our own is also to be there during daytime or nighttime and monitor. That's what we do. We monitor. When we monitor, we keep our records. Honestly, that the defense is not a defense, but I was stating the facts of our own responsibility and what we are supposed to do in party primaries.
Can we say the number of parties that are participating in the local council elections for now?
We are compiling all the lists. It will be released to the press. Everybody will know. We will publish it. It will be published. Then you go through it. But what we have done is that the party primaries have been concluded. And those who are going to contest, the parties have released their names and what have you. Our report are there. In fact, you will notice that people will complain. They will complain to their own political parties. They won't complain to Inec. But maybe they will let Inec know, because Inec was there as a monitor. So, but we are not there as a tribunal. We are not going to listen to their complaint and entertain it because we cannot educate on that. This is the real position, and that is why I say so in a forum with NOAA, who are our partners, in order for people to know exactly what role we have played, what role we are playing, and what role that Inec is supposed to play.
Thank you so much.
You are most welcome.